Welcome to In Pursuit 360. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that one of my oldest subscribers has recommended, and that is the culture of the department or agency that you're applying to, and how does that fit with your personality. So he wrote me an email recommending this topic, and I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. So let's just get into it. All right, here we go. So this topic is thanks to Big Ben, one of my oldest subscribers, and when he subscribed, he was shooting me lots of comments and stuff on my videos. Great help. I'm sure he helped out with the YouTube algorithm, and really helped out a lot. He was there for me a lot right in the beginning of the channel when the channel first started to gain traction and stuff. So Big Ben, you're out there, man. I really appreciate you. Sorry it took me some time to get to this topic. Glad to hear you got picked up by a department, though. That's awesome. So, and thanks for the cred in what you say possibly my contribution was to you making that department. I hope I helped out some. Anyway, so Big Ben says, hey, maybe you should share the idea of how important it is to understand the culture of a department or an agency, and does it fit your personal beliefs or your personality or the way that you think policing should be. And that is like a really awesome point. So how do you figure out if the culture of the department or agency is going to match your ideals? Well, there are a couple things. One, I hate to say this, check the local media. How's the media reporting on them? Now, you have to kind of keep in mind that sometimes the media can be one-sided, right? So yeah, sometimes the media can be one-sided, and it may either tend to look a lot more negative on law enforcement. Very rarely are they extremely supportive of law enforcement. Um, but how often are they coming up with stories on the agency that you're applying for? So in other words, if the agency or the department's not giving the local media anything to bite on, right, or anything that they can kind of like twist, that's probably a pretty good sign, right? That's probably a pretty good sign that they're doing things by the book and they're really not doing anything that could be even questionably iffy. Um, so, as an example, you go to check on your local agency and you're looking in local media, whether it be online or actual print or just watching the news or whatever. Burglary suspect arrested after 3-day manhunt, or assault and battery occurred at local school. Subject taken into custody 3 days later. Blah 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 blah. Right? If they're not adding in things like burglary suspect caught and then beaten by local law enforcement, right? So if you're not reading those kind of things, then there's a pretty good idea that the department's got their stuff together. Um, any agency or department, and this isn't all of them, and this isn't a guarantee, but if they're playing things close enough to the line, if they really don't understand where that line is, like, hey, this is what we can do, this is what we're supposed to do, and this is the side that we kind of need to stay away from and not really do our jobs this way, right? We don't need to be bending rules and stuff like that. We really need to stay on this side, right? There's a real fine line, and there's like barely any gray in what you can and can't do, right, in law enforcement. But some people, some agencies will allow their officers to play in that gray, and it causes a lot of trouble. Um, and so it's not that the department was wrong or the officer was wrong, but it's just enough that this age, the media or whatever, can twist it, right? You can take a situation. I mean, no matter how bad it is, no matter how right law enforcement is, and the media will twist it. But what, and then the thing to look for is, what does the department or agency do after that? What do they do when they do get a little bit of negative press? Does the chief or the sheriff or whoever automatically go in and start talking bad about the officer, and oh, we're being fired right away, we're getting rid of him, oh God, he was awful? Or are they saying, and this could be natural depending on what the circumstances are, the officer's been suspended with pay during the pending the outcome of the investigation. We will keep you updated on further information. And then the media will ask other questions like, well, isn't it true that he beat him to a pulp? And then your chief or sheriff should say something like, you know, we're not really commenting on that right now. There are multiple things that we're looking at, multiple witness accounts and things like that. So when we finish our investigation, we will be sure to be letting you know exactly, what we found out or whatever. Um, it's important that the department back their officers. And if you speak to officers that work in that agency, if you get them off on the side, you get them alone, or if you know anybody that works for that department, they're going to be able to tell you, does the department back its officers? And this is crucial. This is a big deal because the department that doesn't back their officers has officers that are scared to act. They are worried that they're going to get themselves in trouble even though they shouldn't because their supervisor or their chief or their sheriff or their command staff is not going to back them. They're afraid they're going to throw them under the bus for the first person that comes in and makes a complaint. So anyway, so be aware of the culture of the department or the agency that you're putting in for. So, again, check local media, check crime stats. You can pull up and look at the state of the county website, or you can look at like FBI crime reports. They track criminal stats from all around the country, and find out what are the crime stats in the area. How many murders has that jurisdiction had? In the last year or two, 3 or 4 years, and then what is the solve rate, right? What's going on in that area? What's the gang activity in the area? Now, believe it or not, this has a lot to do with the culture of the department. Stafford County, we had a rumor that the Bloods and the Crips were moving into the county. The sheriff immediately, not only did he form a task force, but the order was out for all patrol officers to hit these certain neighborhoods where we thought they were trying to set up, and we were to do nothing. You stopped every car. Tail light. Now listen carefully. Now, you stopped every car for anything that was legal to stop it for. Busted tail light, dangling object from the rearview mirror. Yes, in Virginia, that is against the law. Take your pick. No front license plate. No county, no state inspection sticker. Speeding. Running a stop sign. Blah 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 blah. Any violation that occurred, you stopped the car. I didn't say anything about who the occupants were. Don't even start to go there. That is not what I said. I said within the areas where we thought there was trouble brewing, you stopped everything you possibly could by law. Okay? Didn't say anything about who was in the car. You stopped the car. Hey, could be grandma, grandpa heading up to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee. Love those Slurpees, right? Could be them heading up, but you still stopped the car, right? And the sheriff backed us. The sheriff backed us 120%. Why? Because he did not want any organized gang group or crime organization, which is what they really are, setting itself up in the county. And guess what? They didn't. It didn't take very long. They went to the county south of us, and they went up north of us. They're all around. But they weren't in Stafford, I can tell you that. Why? Because the sheriff says, we're not going to have it here. Go out and get them. Let them know that we're not going to tolerate it. And man, we did. We did. We just full pressure, and out they went. They never even got a toehold, let alone a foothold, right? What's the culture of the department you're going for? What's their theory? Fletzy always taught us in defensive tactics, and I bring this up for a reason, because I'm trying to teach this now in private security, right? The theory of hit them back first. Hit them back first. Nothing says as a law enforcement officer you have to let somebody hit you before you can react, right? If you start seeing the indicators, balled up fists, fighting stance, taking off glasses, setting them down, pushing up cuffs, right? All these are indicators that somebody's getting ready to attack you. If they're getting ready to fight, nothing says that you can't pepper spray them, right? Take them out, man. Or, nothing says you can't say, you know what, we're over now, you're detained. And you go and put them in cuffs to detain them. It's perfectly legal, okay? So does your department back you when you make these decisions? Do they teach you when you can make these decisions? You know, what is the culture? What are their what's their push, right? What are they trying to accomplish in the community that you're getting ready to serve in? Is it to really control crime, knock out crime, be aggressive, or is it just to be there to respond to people and, oh no, don't offend anybody and just kind of stay back? There are departments out there now that are like that. And unfortunately, officers are getting hurt because they're sitting there playing patty cake with everybody, trying to be all nicey nice, right? Which is a bunch of crap. You want crime to stop, then you need to be more aggressive, right? You need to stop people for having a tail light out and seeing what they're up to. You need to stop somebody for walking the wrong way on a street, right? So in Virginia, if you're walking on the side of the road, you have to walk it towards the flow of traffic, right? You're not supposed to walk with it. So if somebody was walking the opposite way, hey, stop and talk to them. Not since you have to write them a ticket. Who writes a pedestrian a ticket? Not really anybody that I know of. However, it's a violation of law, and it's a chance to stop and talk to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? And what's going on? What are you up to? Where are you heading to? Need a ride? Hey, I'll give you a quick ride. Oh, by the way, before I can give you a ride and put you in my car, I got to pat you down for weapons. You okay with that? Oh, you don't want me to? All right, well, hey, have a nice walk, right? All perfectly legal, but they're interactions. They're interactions that deal with people. Is the department you're applying for, what culture do they have? What kind of interactions do they want you to have with the public? What reputation do they want you to have with the public, right? These are all really key. Now, that does not mean that you need to go find a department that's all about harassing people. This is serving the community, right? Everything I just mentioned is serving the community. What are you serving? You're serving to their safety. You want people to be safe. You want them to be comfortable. You want them to know that when they see that police car coming down the road, that, man, I'm protected. I'm safe, right? That's what we're looking for. So that's the culture that I mean, personally, I would look for. It depends on what you're looking for, right? So make sure that that culture of that department matches your personality, your wants, your desires. Now, if you're going into a department as a stepping stone and you only plan on being there for a year or two, make sure that it's at least a culture that you can tolerate and get through until you get where you want to be, until you gain the experience. Don't just sign up for any department anywhere, who's a what's it, right? And you end up in a mess. You can end up hurting yourself in the long run, okay? So that's it. That's all I got for you today for In Pursuit 360. Don't forget, hey, down there somewhere, hit that subscribe button for me. And, thumbs up would be awesome. I don't think there's a thumbs down anymore. Did they get rid of that? Maybe they did. I don't know. Anyway, the bell notification down there will end up letting you know when the next video posts, like this one's coming out here in the next probably 20-30 minutes. And we'll go from there. All right. So everybody, please remember, match the culture of the department to your personality and what it is that you're looking for and how you want to serve your community, and does it match the department that you're going with. Okay. So in the meanwhile, everybody, thanks again for watching In Pursuit 360. Be safe out there.